I'll be honest, this has been a tough week. I am really grateful. I have like 4 subjects of things that I've written down to remind myself of like encouragements or new understandings that have come this week, and I can't wait to share them. But it's been a hard week to find the time to do that, and sometimes I've had the time, but my brain wasn't firing the right way, or my physical energy wasn't quite there, and I would just pray, like, God, if you want me to do this, just give me your supernatural ability to have the energy or the clarity of my mind. And I just felt like every time he was like, it's okay, now's not the right time, you just need to rest. So I did, and that brings me to this morning of something brand new that is not one of the things that I've been like eagerly waiting to share. So the first thing that I'm going to share is what just happened this morning. And it reminded me, if you had parents like mine, they may have in love given you consequences for things that they felt like were the best thing for correction or training, for you to learn from the thing you had done. So sometimes I would like get grounded and I hated being grounded because I hated having to miss things with my friends. And my parents would always say, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Like, I guess when I would complain or when I would be sad or whine or yell or who knows what in my undeveloped spirit I would have done then. But I'm sure my parents could tell you if you asked them. But that would kind of be their response, was this hurts me more than it hurts you. And sorry, y'all, it's been a week. So I just remember hearing that, and whether you've heard it from a parent or a friend, or you've been the one to say it, like, you know, whatever. When I was younger, I would hear that and I would feel guilty, like what I did got me a consequence, but it's hurting somebody else, right? And like, I would feel bad. And I don't think that was the intent of my parents. At the time, honestly, I thought it was. Like, I thought there was some like deeply theological thing that they were trying to get me to understand, like, your sin hurts other people too, see? And I don't think that's what they were trying to do. I think they were just expressing to me what I have felt as a parent. Like, seeing my kids hurt is hard. And whew, I'm not sure I'm gonna post this. Some people look pretty when they cry. Not everyone does. So I think the enemy worked really hard at whispering over and over to me to feel really guilty when my parents would tell me, this hurts me more than it hurts you, kind of thing. I think the whisperer, Satan himself, would whisper that so that I would agree with that and take hold of that. Like, yes, I should feel guilty for that thing that I did that was wrong, and kind of dwell there. But I think what God wants me to see instead is just awe, like just awe and wonder for such a deep love that would take on hurt that is stronger and deeper and worse than the hurt that I'm experiencing, because they love me so much. And today I was just given that picture of like what Jesus took on, and he took on all the pain. And, you know, I say, you know, sometimes when my kids are like heartbroken over a friendship or a relationship, like kind of going not the way that they thought it would, I just like, they'll be crying and I'll just cry with them and say, you know, I'm sorry, and I want sorry, somebody's walking by. I don't even know how to edit videos, y'all, but I might have to figure it out to edit that out. Sorry. When they're like really upset, I'll just sit there and cry with them and say, I wish I could take it away. Like, I wish I could take it on. I wish I could take all the hurt out of you and take it because my faith is stronger. Yours will be, but like right now, my faith and my hope and my joy over your life is stronger. And I wish I could just take away all the hurt and take it on myself so that you cannot feel the pain anymore. And today it just hit me, like, that's what God did. Like, he looked on all of us and all of our pain and all the things we were suffering and didn't say, I wish I could take it on and I wish I could take it away. He says, I can and I will and I am and I do. And then he said, it's finished, right? Like, it's done. So like, in this natural, on earth, like we're still gonna have pain, but like the pain beneath the pain, like the death, the darkness, that's gone, and we just have this physical part. Sorry, that's gross. Of we just have this physical part that ultimately brings us promotion. That's a whole nother thing for another day, but the enemy wants us to hear the guilt, like the whispers of you should feel bad, feel guilty, let the pain make you feel guilty so that you will shut down or go in like work mode to preserve and protect. But that's a prison. So our pain can put us in a prison like that, or it can bring us into promotion, where the healing from the pain and like all the things of this world that pain produces a reward working out, name it. Anyway, I digress. That's what Jesus did for us. And I really think that a lot of misunderstandings about Jesus are that he came to hurt us and he came to punish us for being wrong or bad. And the interesting thing is, people that like of that time would have been considered wrong or bad, he like loved them and healed them. But people that would have been considered like the rule followers and the leaders and the ones like showing everybody the right way to be, they were the ones that he came down on and like corrected and disciplined for how they were being. So, this hurts me more than it hurts you is not a guilt trip or a condemnation or well, you might be hurting. It's not patronizing, like, well, that might hurt you, but it's so much worse for me. Like, you've met those people that are like, that you say like, oh, I had a bad day today. My computer crashed. Oh, my computer crashed 7 times today. Like the people that are always trying to one up you, like, I don't know. I think everybody knows people like that. If you don't, it might be you. But, some people are striving and trying really hard in their flesh to be compassionate. And the way that they do it is just like forcing themselves to understand where everybody's coming from. And a way that they might do that is like, oh, you got lost. I got lost one time, but I got lost worse than you did. Or, oh, you broke your arm. Oh, I'm sorry. I broke my arm one time, but I actually broke it in 3 places. It was really bad. I think some people are competitive, but then some people think that that's how you show connection and understanding, is by experiencing the same thing. But I think what God did for us is show us that, like, there's nobody in the world that understands or has been through what we have but him. But that's not a competition or a guilt trip. It's just awe and complete love. And when I think that I can't do that for my kids, I can't take away what they're going through, even though I want to. But the one who can is fully accessible to them. So the hope and the joy comes from me knowing that that same love that I've received, they receive. And I don't want to take it away, because I want them to experience what I have in Jesus, that Jesus has for everyone. So today, how this happened today. I ended up at a local, I'll just say I ended up at Panera. My son has been asking me to go to Panera for probably a month, and he started asking me to go to Panera for a type of bagel that turns out they don't even have. And I found that out, and we went, and they didn't have it. I think he was disappointed. So then, like, the next day, he's like, "Can we go?" And I'm like, "Bud, they don't have those. Like, they didn't have." And then he was like, "I don't care. I still want to go. I'll get that other thing." And it was like he was saying, like, "I just want to be with you. I just want to spend time with you. And it's okay that the thing that I thought I was going to get, I'm not going to get." Because what was really under what I wanted was this special experience and time with you. So it's like, wow, okay, I'll make that happen. And, just said a prayer like, "Lord, help me to know when I can do that." So this morning, we wake up, and he wakes up. All my kids are just like awesome, but they're good sleepers. So when I wake them up, it's kind of like a little bit of a chore to get everybody up and going. And he finally got up. Or not finally, sorry. Today, it wasn't that way. He kind of woke up right away and was like, "Hey, can we go to Panera today?" And I was like, okay, it's a Friday. Like, probably. So I just said, I was like, I think we can make that work. I'm not really sure. And he was like, "I'll pay." I was like, "But you're awesome. But it's okay. You don't have to pay. It's not about that. But if you'll get up and everybody gets ready, then if we have time, we can go." So they all got up and got ready, and we're in the car. And then it was the realization of like, oh, well, if we go to Panera for our time with God and share with each other what he's telling us this morning, then I'm not going to have time with my friends in the hall before class starts. And the other two kids in the car decided they wanted to do that. And so I asked, I was like, "Well, Bud, like, are you okay with that?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So we drop them off, we go to Panera. And then I'm like, "Hey," he's like, "Well, I guess it's different, or it's just me and you." I can't remember what he said, but it was something like, "Well, this isn't how I thought it was going to be." And I was like, "I'm sorry, is that okay?" And he was like, "Actually, it's better." So that was sweet. And he just said, like, we all get what we want this way, and we don't have to spend as much money because they didn't even want to come. And which, again, I was like, that's okay, but all right. So we get there, and we just have a wonderful time just spending time together. And he can tell me that they're making rock candy at school and like different things. And then he wants to read Psalm 64. So we read Psalm 63, Psalm 64, and we kind of talk about what we feel like the Lord wants us to know from those passages today. And then we're walking out to the car, and he goes, "Mommy, what happened to your car?" And I was like, "What?" And I look, and I'm like, "Yeah, I see it." And we get closer, and I'm like, "There's not a note, but the front left bumper is like ripped off." And so I'm like, "Okay." And we start to look at it, and some lady comes, she's like, hey, is this your car? I took a video. And then some other lady comes running up and is like, is this your car? Is this your car? And I was like, yes. And she was like, I've been looking for you. I've gone in everywhere. And I was like, oh my goodness. Well, thank you for looking for me. But long story short, she was driving a car she wasn't really familiar with and was pulling out of her parking spot, and it just grabbed and ripped off the bumper. And I could just see that in my son's eyes, this like, not fear, but just this curiosity. Like he was taking it all in. Like, what's going to happen? Like, is mommy going to get mad? Is this lady going to go crazy? Like, our car is expensive, and like, we know we've got spring baseball coming up, like the things that they know cost money. And I could just see him like, almost like he was watching a movie, like what is going to happen next? And so I just put my arm around him and I was like, it's okay. And so we're talking to this lady and she feels terrible. And I'm just talking to her. I'm like, it's okay. And she's like, I'm so stupid. And I said, no, ma'am. No, you are not. You were created by God. And, Jesus seated at his right hand is an authority. And you're a daughter of the Most High King. You are not stupid. Do not say that about yourself. And she was so sweet. And we talked and whatever. It was fine. She was fine. My car was not quite fine. Her car was fine. Like, whatever. We weren't even in the car. But just like the gift that it was to read God's word and read about him telling us what's true. And then my son just getting to watch it like in real life. It was just so great. And I could just see him like almost anticipating, like, when's the bad thing gonna come? Like, when is my mom gonna cry because of the expense? Or when is somebody gonna get mad because it's inconvenient? And just the relief when we got in the car and like they had driven away, the police officer had driven away, everybody had driven away, and I looked up and I was like, you okay? And he was like, yeah, I am. And I was like, great. And it was just such a gift to have the peace of the Lord. And yeah, and it could have gone different. It could have been that someone could have been hurt or whatever, and I could have been in the boat of saying, I wish I could take this away from you, like it could have been that it might have been him as a teenager being somewhere that we didn't know he was going to be, and us in our frustration and in our stress taking it out on him like it was his fault, and just feeling like the Lord just removed all of that, and there was nothing for him to feel other than grateful and protected and taken care of. Was really, really great. So it was cool. And that any guilt or shame or condemnation or judgment, he was totally protected from. And that if or when there comes a time where something happens, and rather than receiving the perfect protection and promise and forgiveness of Jesus, he's tempted to take on guilt or shame, I hope that he finds a way to remember his true identity of a child of God, an image bearer of God, one under the authority and salvation of Jesus. And yeah, so that happened today. Not gonna bore you with the rest of the week, but I am going to try to give a couple more words, but this 20-minute video here has been long enough. So hope it's been encouraging. If you have a feeling of guilt or shame and things like this hurts me more than it hurts you, like if you've interpreted that as putting the weight of your sin on yourself, or feeling guilty for that, or striving in your own ability, my prayer for you is that you can deconstruct all of that, the misunderstanding, and understand instead the what I think is the truer meaning of this hurts me more than it hurts you is the Lord saying, this hurts me more than it hurts you, and I'm so glad because I can bear the weight, and it is my joy to take it off of you and hold it so that you don't have to, and reconstruct in that place, the place of awe. Don't reject the gift. Don't reject the one who wants to take the pain away, but understand that it's not a punishment and it's not a guilt trip. It's true love. And in a world that love means a whole lot of things, I kind of wish I even had a different word for it, but it is the truest love. Yeah, sorry, this was like not the best, but I know if it's for you, God will use it. And that's my prayer. And happy reconstructing.